Hi guys, welcome to Essence of Earth. I'm your hostess with the mostest, Miss Nikita. And y'all know over here we're going to talk about everything that's going to help you improve the quality of your life. So we have Miss Holistically Amber. We're going to be
Hi.
talking to her. And a little bit about her. So she's born and raised in Detroit, Michigan. She grew up with an insatiable curiosity and deep love for learning. Graduated from Wayne State University, has a true calling. Her true calling emerged from seeing family and community members suffer from preventable chronic diseases. She founded Renew Living Solutions in August of 2022, which is dedicated to empowering others through education and non-toxic living. I'm through.
Yes. I just love that. That just made me feel
That sounds
so
so
amazing.
good, girl.
Wow.
You're dope, okay? You're doing it. And to be
How
so
are you?
young, you're doing it.
Thank you. First off, I just want to say I am so thankful to be here. Thank you so much, Nikita, for putting this together. I am blessed. But yes, I'm really excited to be here. I'm sorry.
No, I was just saying that's awesome. I was going to say thank you for doing this. This is my second episode, and it just kind of came about, and I was like, let's just create a segment called "Let's Talk About It," where we're just going to talk about health because we talked a little bit, and I was like, we don't know everything, right? And I think
Right.
it's good to get other people's perspectives, and then they have different experiences that they could put on the table that could essentially help someone. So that matters, right? So
Yeah, because I'm
go ahead.
sorry. But yeah, just like we were saying earlier, I personally feel like I will never know everything. And I was just telling you how humble you are because not everyone is, especially in today's day and age where we do have a platform like social media and we're able to share so much and we're able to get that instant gratification from thousands and 10,000s of people agreeing to something that you said. So that can
Right,
really inflate one's ego. But
right,
even then, when you see all those numbers, you don't know everything. It's not possible to know everything, but we can still help each other with what we do know because what I might know, another person might know, and they'll benefit from that. Or what I don't know, you could teach me. So I
right.
really agree with that.
Right, definitely. So to be so young, because I just found out how old you are, like what kind of like triggered you to just say, you know what, let's go this holistic route, let's teach people. What was that trigger? Like for me, it was getting a breast cancer diagnosis. I was already kind of healthy, right? I started doing a little
Right.
bit of research, but to get a diagnosis, that just kind of catapulted, me into learning about the human body and then trying to help other people throughout their processes of diagnosis and stuff like that. So was there a trigger like that for you?
So I'll kind of start from the very beginning of me realizing it, but I did have a trigger later on in my teen years. But I'm thankful that I did always have this foundation because my dad, he has always been into herbs, holistic living,
Really?
African holistic living. Like I
Wow.
remember being a little girl and I probably could have been more than 5 or 6 years old. And I remember this. I was in the kitchen with my dad and he had a mason jar with some green drink in it. I was like, Dad, what is that? He's like, I'm drinking grass. And as a kid, I just found that so funny. But he was quite literally drinking, greens like moringa, neem. He also had stuff like goji berries. I mean, you don't really being able to be exposed to something like that so young. I'm just so thankful for it because a lot of kids in my school or my age didn't know what a goji berry was. And that's
Right.
a major superfood. Um, so I will say that I pretty much know a lot of basic things from a young age, but what kind of triggered me to actually start doing it and putting it into action in my own life was I was in high school and I went to a public school. I didn't go to like a private school where your lunch was something really healthy or your parents are on the board and you're like, we're not going to have those foods in our schools. No, like the government decides what they're going to feed kids. And just being in a public school, we were exposed to stuff like hot Cheetos, GMO food, honey buns, whatnot. So, I mean, I was going to school for 8 hours a day. So, as a kid, you're like, yeah, I'm going to eat hot Cheetos. I'm going to
Right.
eat, this stuff. I mean, that's how I was. Right, just munching, snacking in study hall.
Right.
So, that disciplined because I mean, at school you're just having fun with your friends, and food is a way that we connect with each other. So I was eating terribly and I started gaining weight. So that was my trigger to get me into really living holistically. So I started gaining weight and I was huffing and puffing going up the stairs at school. And that really, I was in my head like, I should not be huffing and puffing going up the stairs. You know, most people go through that when they want to lose weight. But yeah, that was my trigger. And I was probably about 17 or 18, like my junior year, senior year of high school. I decided I was going to exercise every single day, eat healthy, but it wasn't just eating healthy. I wanted to eat organic, non-GMO, because this is the stuff that my dad was telling me growing up, all while I was younger. And I just wasn't listening all the way because I'm like, but at school we get to eat Cheetos and whatnot. So that was most of my diet. But I finally had that wake up call of, okay, we got to get it together. And yeah, exactly. And I haven't looked back since. So that was pretty much what made me kind of catapulted me into starting this business, because I know that there are thousands, tens of thousands of other children, not even just in Detroit, but in this country that are going through that same thing, but they don't have someone around them to talk to them about it, or even someone to look up to understand that.
And that's just, you know, the fact that you saw it from your father, like that's so important, because children learn their eating habits from who they're around the most, is their parents and their environment. So many children don't get to see that. Like, I didn't know what a goji berry was, you know, in my youth. Like, I don't ever eating a goji berry or a sprout or anything like that. So definitely having parents who are into health or know something about it and being able to teach them, that's the start. So that's so important. And luckily, right, you should be, because the way things are going now, it's just like, it's only getting worse, and it's impacting people at. I think I may have lost you. Are you there? Okay.
I can hear you now. Okay, it's going good now.
Okay. But yeah, so these diseases are coming in, you know, and affecting the youth, you know, so much earlier now. So it definitely starts in the home, and implementing, you know, those herbs and goji berries and stuff like that. So your parents support this route for you 100%.
Oh, 100%. And they honestly, they encourage me so much. They love that I have chosen to take the entrepreneurial route. But yes, they support me 100%. My dad really loves it. My mom does. I'm always telling them every day, look at what they said about my poster. I just really love the support that I'm getting, because it just feels really good when you have a community and people who are supporting you. I truly love that. I appreciate that.
And people supporting you, as well as diseases are coming in, you know, and affecting the youth, you know, so much earlier now. So it definitely starts in the home, and implementing, you know, those herbs and goji berries and stuff like that. So your parents support this route for you 100%.
Oh, 100%. And they honestly, they encourage me so much. They love that I have chosen to take the entrepreneurial route. But yes, they support me 100%. My dad really loves it. My mom does. I'm always telling them every day, look at what they said about my poster. I just really love the support that I'm getting, because it just feels really good when you have a community and people who are supporting you. I truly love that. I appreciate that.
And people supporting you, as well as people learning from you as well.
Yes.
You don't realize the impact that you have on people, and people come up to you and say, I saw your video, and I'm like, you did? It kind of makes me
like, you guys are watching?
You saw? Like, Nikita, that's what you're doing it for.
Exactly.
Like, you really don't know the impact you have. Like, I had a huge following on TikTok, and unfortunately my TikTok got banned. But you know, so many people just, you know, reaching out and telling me, you know, how much I've helped them, and I'm like, wow, you know. So it is rewarding, right? So yes. I can definitely appreciate that. So you did have some topics that you were passionate about that we want to discuss. Okay.
Yes.
And the first one was how pretty much how stress affects health. Now, let me tell you, I'm in the process of writing a book, and kind of like giving some tips on things I would do if, you know, if I had cancer again, just to kind of give people a guide, right, where to start.
Right.
First, thing that I mentioned is stress. That's the first thing that I mentioned because it's incredibly important. So, how does chronic stress affect the body's systems, and what are some of the most overlooked effects on our health?
Oh goodness, we could spend so much time on this.
And we can.
And congratulations on starting your book. That's a major feat, and that's wonderful. Thank you so much for that. Chronic stress. Okay, I want to hone in on the word chronic because the word chronic means it's happening consistently over time. It's not one here, then one here. No, it's all the time, chronic. So the difference between chronic stress and what we would call normal stress. Normal stress is, say someone comes in and scares you. Your adrenaline rises really quickly so you can get that big boost of energy.
Right.
So if you have to run away, pick up a really heavy object that you wouldn't normally pick up, that's normal stress. Chronic stress, which is the one that we want to avoid and which is affecting all of us so much. Chronic stress is when you worry a lot about things that you cannot control. And this is, I'm not saying these to our viewers out there, I'm not saying this to invalidate the reasons why you are stressing, but this is why we are stressing. Worried about things that we cannot control constantly. We are sometimes holding on to traumatic events that have happened to us in the past, and we can hold that in our minds, and then it goes down into our body. So we tense up sometimes, you're tensing up your shoulders, your neck, your hips. You don't want that. And people always say, well, I have chronic stress. How do I get rid of it? The case with this, like a lot of other things, is it's never going to be overnight. It's never going to be overnight. You have to habitually implement different things into your life, such as deep breathing into your diaphragm, taking adaptogenic herbs like ashwagandha, dahmania, saffron, drinking water with electrolytes, getting sunlight exposure for at least 20 minutes a day, limiting your screen time, making sure you're exercising. Just the most simple things that we are not habitually doing are not able to counteract the chronic stress that we're experiencing. So we're just going day by day by day, having insomnia, not being able to stretch properly, just going day by day by day and not counteracting that with an activity that can fight off the stress hormone, which is cortisol.
Right.
But yeah, chronic stress, it really is our enemy because it leads into autoimmune disorders, other diseases that we otherwise would not have, because having that cortisol hormone so present all the time, it can really focus all of your body's attention onto that, and it shuts down your other organs and systems in your body. And I know I'm talking a lot about this, but
oh no, do your thing, girl.
The nitty gritty is like your parasympathetic nervous system and your sympathetic nervous system. So your parasympathetic nervous system is when you're in a calm, relaxed state. This is when your eyes are able to dilate properly. This is when your heartbeat is at a normal rate while you're sitting down. It's not too high. This is when your body is able to digest its food properly instead of you being constipated or even having something like a really poor stool. Those are the things that happen that when you are in a relaxed state. That's when you don't have chronic stress. That's parasympathetic. When people have chronic stress, their body is switched on to the sympathetic nervous system, which is where you're tensed up. I mean, it's the complete opposite of being in a relaxed state. That cortisol hormone is really high. You might be constipated, and that could be something that's affecting your mood all the time because you're not able to properly relieve yourself. Migraines. I mean, the list can go on and on, but a lot of us are not educated, which there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, who's going to go look up parasympathetic nervous system?
Right. But, right. That's what I was getting ready to say. That's people don't really associate these symptoms to stress. You know what I mean? So like, oh, my digestive system is messed up. Oh, let me go to the doctor and let's see what the doctor does. Or I'm just tense, right? Let me get a muscle relaxer instead of like getting to the cause. They don't associate that with, oh, that's a symptom of stress, or I'm working all day. It's like you have to kind of look a little deeper than just those symptoms. And when people come to me and then I start asking all these questions and they're like, oh, do this and do that. And they're like, oh, but everybody just kind of like want that quick fix thing like that.
That is one of the main problems with America is our need for instant gratification, whether it be you're shopping online and you want something the same day, you go to a drive-through and you want your food ready in 30 seconds, or it's everywhere. It's a drug. It's a drug. We don't want to wait for anything.
We don't. So if you could mention like one thing that people should do or could do to minimize the stress, what would be that one thing?
Oh, this one is so simple. It's so simple. You don't need to go out and buy anything. You don't need to buy a course. You don't need to go to the nutrition store. And a lot of people don't even realize that this is all they have to do sometimes. And I do it all day. This is it's breathing into your diaphragm. Breathing into your diaphragm. Also something that I have been trying. This isn't directly related to relieving stress, but stomach vacuums. And I actually saw this on your story. And it's funny that we were I thought about it, and then I saw your story. I was like, wow, this is awesome.
Yes,
but so breathing into your diaphragm is one of the greatest stress relievers that you can do in the moment. And this is something that you can do even when you feel the stress coming on, or you may have already had maybe a panic attack, or you got angry. This is something that your body can use to calm itself down and relieve and take down that cortisol level. So you can do counts of 3 in, you can do counts of 3 out, you can do counts of 6, whatever your body can handle. But just make sure that you are getting that oxygen in down to your diaphragm, not just your lungs. I'm not going to get too deep into that, but into your diaphragm or your stomach. And you're just gonna, if you do that for maybe like a minute, 2-minute increments, maybe 5 times a day, just build yourself up just so you can get in the habit of doing it. I always tell people, start small, because you might overwhelm yourself by putting too much on yourself at one time. So just start small, 1 to 2 minutes of 3 in, 3 out, and you will instantly tell the difference in how you feel soon after.
Right. Sometimes I deal with anxiety, especially when I'm driving. And
oh yes,
I immediately tell myself, breathe from my diaphragm, because a lot of people, they just stop their breath. Like that's such
right.
Like you have to go all the way down. And I always tell people, look at a baby's stomach and look how their stomach rises and falls. That's how you should be breathing all day, every day.
Exactly. Exactly.
Shallow breathing, but you got to breathe deeply. And you can oxygenate your body. You know what I'm saying? Really getting that oxygen in and getting that oxygen to use, shallow breaths.
Exactly.
So breathing is, and I kind of knew you were going to say that. I was like, because breathing is like the most important thing. You have to breathe.
It is.
Relax, count to 3, count to 6. And a lot of people don't even realize that they take shallow breaths.
Right. Sometimes I have to catch myself if I'm too into something, or, I forget. I kind of try to keep it as muscle memory. Like, okay, can't just take those shallow breaths, but it takes time to get yourself to do that. You have to, everything is a muscle. You have to work the muscles, the discipline muscles, the habit muscles. We got to work them. Right.
And I do a little bit of shouting. So I remember going to my vocal lessons, and the vocal instructor was teaching me how to sing, with my
I knew you could sing. I knew you could sing. Something about you just told me you could sing.
I sing a little something, girl. But I can remember we were working, and I was like, my back is hurting. It was a literal workout from breathing properly. Like my back all up in here. I was like, this hurts, but you're using the muscles and you're using them properly. And they were weak. And I was like, okay, so that's why I can't blow like Whitney right now. Okay.
Right. And it's funny that you mentioned the vocal class, because in 6th grade, I had a vocal class, and I'm like, why is this lady telling me to breathe into my diaphragm? I don't know what that means. She said sing from your diaphragm. I said, what is a diaphragm and how do I sing from that? I'm just singing from up here.
Right. Like, your diaphragm is down here.
Right. But isn't it just so amazing how we can connect the dots from everything like that? It's just so amazing to me. This is why it's called holistic health. You look at everything as a whole instead of just bits and pieces.
You have to look at it as a whole, because that's the only way that it makes sense. Like, you don't, and that's kind of like my issue sometimes, because everybody just wants to put a Band-Aid over the symptom, right? Let's just take care of this little symptom, like allopathic industry. Oh, let's just cut it out. Oh, that's not a vital organ. You don't need it. Let's just cut it out. Oh, let's just
that's my soul.
Let's just cut out your uterus. It's okay. Do you want kids? Okay.
Oh my gosh. I actually I'm so sorry.
No, a thought just came to me.
Go ahead.
Women are when women say, I don't want any more children, I want my tubes tied. They say no. But when you get a fibroid, oh, let's cut it out. They don't even want to
Right.
save it. You know what I'm saying? Like that just blows my mind. It really does.
I
So everybody just wants
I
to say everything.
actually, it blows my mind too, because I actually worked with a woman a while ago who told all of us that I just briefly mentioned, I said, "Oh, you'll pass this recipe down to your grandkids." I just said something like that, and then she said, "Oh no, I'm not going to have any kids because I had a hysterectomy," and it just really shocked me because I was like, "Wow!" Like, she started explaining to me why she had the hysterectomy. She says that it's genetic, that the women in her family get a disease with their uterus and they get fibroids as well. And my mind immediately went into shock into how real the pharmaceutical industry, and like you said, the allopathic Western medicine, wanting to just dissect something. My mind just immediately went into shock. Like, oh my goodness, they made this woman remove her organs, her woman organs, to be able to have a child, to be able to conceive. And it's not even just about having a child. It's about your estrogen levels, you being a woman. I mean, it's being, you're being stripped of your womanhood, quite literally. I mean, and I don't want to go into detail about her personality and whatnot, but I did notice a difference in how she interacted with us versus other women who I'm assuming still have their uterus
Right.
intact. I mean, but she would really just kind of flip out sometimes, get really stressed out, or just like miss work for days and days at a time. I mean, she was no longer with us at some point, but I mean, that's just the daily struggle of being attacked by the allopathic medicine world. I
Right.
mean, that woman's life
Absolutely.
is probably like destroyed from something like
Right.
that.
And it's almost like
Exactly.
it's like yeah, it may not be what we a vital organ or tissue or something that we need to live, but how is it going to interrupt my life after it's gone? You know what I'm saying?
And
Like
I'm going to even take it a step further. I think that it is a vital organ. It is.
it
Let's
is,
just call it a
but
vital organ. It is.
that's what they
Right.
say.
Yeah,
You know
we
what I
know.
mean?
We
It
know.
is.
Yeah.
I think everything that's in our body is necessary. Otherwise, it wouldn't be
Yes.
there. Right?
Exactly.
Wouldn't be there. Like when I had my bilateral mastectomy, I had 4 lymph nodes removed, only 4,
Hmm.
and I still have to deal with drainage filling up in my arm, and sometimes it goes all the way down to
Yeah.
my leg. Just
Hmm.
4. Can you imagine
Hmm.
someone who's gotten 20 or 30 lymph nodes
Exactly.
removed? Removing things from your body affects you in some kind of way. I just wish people would understand that. But you know what? The allopathic industry is just going to say, "Oh, just take this medicine. Take this medicine. Take this medicine." But if you look at it holistically and you say, "Well, what causes these fibroids? This is what you need to
Right.
do. Take these herbs. Do this castor oil pack. You know,
Hmm.
so do these things. Um, Barbara O'Neill has this thing. I absolutely love it. Genetics loads the gun. Genetics loads the gun. But
Yep.
diet, lifestyle, pull the trigger. Like, come on.
Yep.
It's so important.
Exactly. And that's another reason why I truly dislike the social media thing, is because um we, us in a community, we really understand each other, and the people who choose to do better and they come and find us, they understand. A lot of this is actually really just common sense thinking. Just like you said, look at how a baby's stomach rises and falls. I mean, this is just how we are normally out of the womb. We know that we need all the organs in our bodies. We know that herbs heal us, but then, society, or really what we call now big pharma, they just saturate the community with the ideologies that they do. They pay doctors, and honestly, I tell a lot of people, that basically hate us and call us quacks for what we're doing. I say, okay, go pray to your doctors, because that's who you believe in. They're the type of people who you say you don't need, because quite literally they worship doctors in their speech, because
Mhm.
if there is no study, no peer reviewed study about it, then it's just not true. So I said, okay, go have fun, go pray to your doctor, because that's the only person you believe in. That's the deity you believe in. But that's the role that we have given white coat doctors that come from a Harvard University or a Cornell, a UMich, which this is not to take away from their hard work,
Absolutely.
their years of study. I think that's phenomenal to go to school and study for that long. But the things that they're being fed from insurance companies and these boards trickle down into our community, and they're the reason why people are dying from obesity. People have all of these chronic diseases. I mean, they're the reason why. But a lot of doctors are quote unquote waking up, and they're turning into holistic health. And that's something that I never foresaw happening from the years growing up of my dad telling me about this stuff. Because if my dad would have gone onto like social media and did the same thing that I'm doing now, he would have had so much flack. I mean, it's just grown so much lately, and it's amazing. But I mean, maybe even 10 years ago, this would not even be as mainstream as it is.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And we definitely have to thank all of those other holistic doctors and naturopaths who have kind of paved the way for us.
Yes.
They still don't like us. Y'all, we know y'all don't like us in the farm.
Right. It's not gonna stop us.
And, you know, when I was with my TikTok channel, my TikTok page, when it got shut down, I was crying. I was like, I'm gonna tell the truth. These people need to know this stuff. Like, I worked so hard. But then, you know, it just makes you realize that you're really not in control. Like, and it just kind of made me feel some type of way, because I'm like, who are you to say that I can't talk about and share what I'm talking about? I don't like having control over me like that. So now I'm thinking like, well, how can I control my own narrative to where somebody can't say, oh, you can't talk about that. Your page is gone.
Right.
So yeah, definitely. It's just, you know, and another thing, I did a video not too long ago. I think it's on my YouTube page. I think it was sometime this week. You know, some of these grandmas and great grannies, they don't care nothing about what anybody has to say about holistics. They are focused on whatever their doctor has to say.
Exactly.
That's how strong they got that grip on the community. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
It's like this. You look at your granny. I remember looking at my granny. All of this medicine.
Yeah.
That's
I know. You know,
it's gonna go out.
It just. And
I hate to be so vulgar, but I'm a realist, right? I'm listening to tell the truth, you know, right? Like, I want you to. That's what's happening. Like, you just taking all this stuff.
I know, exactly. And it just
makes me so sad.
I know, it breaks my heart, because I mean, obviously, we all have those family members in our family who just refuse to try the holistic remedies. You tell them day in and day out. You try to give your suggestions, and they're just like, "Did the Mayo Clinic put that out? Or I didn't see that on the news last night. They said that the COVID shot was good." You know, just stuff like that. I'm just okay. I mean, we can't. Right. Like, I mean, just for example, like Vaseline. Vaseline is a petroleum product, but a lot of people don't really look into that. But your grandma, she used it, slathered it all on her face. I know, just like just all thing. So it's just like, all right, so it gets passed down. You're like, my grandma used Vaseline, so it's nothing wrong with it. I use it to put under my eyes as an eye mask, or I use it on my hands. And I'll say, just use shea butter or castor oil, Jamaican black castor oil.
Yes.
And they're just like, I don't want to do that. I said, okay.
I'll see you later, though. When you come to me,
I'll see you later.
Like, first thing you need to do is put that petroleum down. Okay.
Exactly.
That's so true. But you know what? I have another saying. When the student is ready, honey, the teacher will appear. Like, my sister love Red Bulls. I'm like, what you drinking? Red Bull. Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
You drinking the big old ones, you know?
She had the tall one.
I said, okay, I'm fine with that.
My business.
Right. So whenever they're ready, I just thank God that, you know, I'm here and I'm learning. And if they need help and they're ready to do what it takes, then, you know, I can guide them along the way. And that's what it's about, you know?
Exactly.
They'll be ready when it's their time. And we just have to somebody else behind them. Yeah. And now, since we're talking about the community, we got to talk about the unhealthy food that they purposely put in our community, child, to keep us hungry.
Yes. And
what are your thoughts on that?
Not even just the food, because since we're talking about the community, because I am a Black woman, I'm a woman and I'm Black, I can speak for our community. I can speak for what I have witnessed growing up in my community. And I actually briefly brushed on this in a post on Instagram a few weeks ago, but the hair products that we're using, and the makeup too, but I'm just going to specifically talk about hair, because we're going to make sure our hair is done, and we're going to make sure it's done right. We pay special attention to our hair, but what we don't pay special attention to is what's in the product, what's in it. Right. We just want it to hold long. We want the straight hair. For example, the Got to Be spray in the yellow can. Everybody knows what it is. People lay their wigs with it. It's just a holding spray. But if people were to know what was in that can and what they're inhaling and what their scalp and skin is absorbing every time they spray it and what it's doing, like if they were to actually see it in real time, not just me explaining it, because even that doesn't work. It just has us in such a chokehold. Honestly, everyone would throw their cans out into the garbage can and start using flaxseed gel, which I love to promote because you can make, I mean, quite honestly, the answer for a lot of things, I'm going to say all, because I don't think there isn't anything in nature that is not a remedy for us. But
absolutely,
flaxseed gel, you can make it with quite literally just flax seeds, nothing else added. You can add essential oils if you want, but all you need is to boil water, put the flax seeds in the water, strain it through some cheesecloth, and you have gel that you can use for any natural hairstyle. And I say natural because I am not personally a big fan of wigs, weaves, and whatnot. But for natural hair, it's amazing. Not only can it gel down your edges or help you with the retwist, it is nourishing your scalp. It's nourishing your hair follicles. But back to the products themselves, I just wanted to give a solution. But back to the products themselves, I mean, we can talk about relaxers too, because that was a bigger thing back in the day. 60s, I'm gonna even say 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, all the way up until now. Relaxers, chemical relaxers, they're just now going mainstream with lawsuits about what they're doing to Black women's reproductive systems. I mean, and it doesn't just end there. It doesn't just end there. I mean, if they're just now coming up with that, I mean, who knows how many Black women have been undiagnosed, or I'm not going to say undiagnosed, but don't really know the root cause of their PCOS, their endometriosis, their fibroids, their ovarian cancer, their uterine cancer, their hormonal acne. I mean, all of these things have a reason. I do not believe that they are genetic. None of those things are genetic. And just like you said earlier, that quote, genetics load the trigger, but your habits, what you eat, what you do, it I'm sorry, did I say that incorrectly?
It's okay, girl.
But you guys know what I mean.
Genetics loads the gun, yes.
Exactly. But I mean, and this is not to put blame on Black women, because we only know what we know, and that goes for anyone. So I am not blaming Black women for this at all. We can take accountability when we do come across the information, because nowadays we're all on social media, and it's not like everyone hasn't come across something like this. But yeah, I mean, I can't blame them, but you can take accountability because there are other solutions out there. But that, and then now, yes, let's talk about the food.
I did want to mention one thing though. One thing about these products, you know, they also have a lot of endocrine disruptors now. I'm kind of like a retired diva, so I don't wear like makeup. After I had my son, honey, I was done. I was like, I'm tired. Something got it was out every day. So I stopped every now and then. Now I put on makeup, you know. And so just recently, you know, I wanted to start looking into vegan makeup, or makeup that was kind of healthier. Now this is something that I might, you know, kind of look into. And I'm like looking for my color, like or you know, like okay, vegan makeup, Black girl.
Can't find it.
Can't find not one. So I was like, maybe this is a market. Maybe I could create some vegan makeup and start selling it, because I don't wear a whole lot of makeup. I love a red lip every now and then. I don't really. So I'm like, this is probably something that I could get into. But yeah, makeups and all this stuff we put on our skin and our hair and stuff, those endocrine disruptors, they mess us up and people don't realize it. They really don't. So it is something that they need to know. But you know, that's a whole nother topic. Because we can go for days and days and days about that.
I know.
A lot of women just feel comfortable with themselves to be natural, you know.
Right.
And that is me, you know, because that's really has to deal with internal, how you feel about this internally. Because you can still be a bad bee and have no makeup on, you know what they call themselves. You know, they I got to have this, I got to have that, all these materialistic things. You can still be that and be natural. You know what I'm saying? So
honestly, I think that's the baddest version of yourself. If you can walk out and, you know, have a natural face, even if you just have a little chapstick on. I mean, quite frankly, I have never been a makeup girl. Probably the most that I do is like mascara and some lip gloss. The other day, that's my thing. Just like a really bold, dark lip. That's my thing. I like that. And then I might put on some mascara.
I saw you, girl. I was like, go, girl.
Yes, But those things, I actually found that from a brand completely non-toxic. It's called Fifth and Skin. They have it on Amazon. I don't want to do a little promo on here, but just
No,
to put everyone
girl is
on,
cake.
that was completely non-toxic. I don't wear, beauty supply makeup and whatnot. I mean, I don't really wear makeup because I don't like the way it feels on my skin. I've tried it before when I was younger. I just could never get into it. Thank you so much. Thank you. I'm over
That
here
lip color
blushing.
did look good on you, honey. It did.
Thank
And
you so much.
you said it was Fifth and Pro. What did you say the name
Fifth
was?
and Skin. I can actually send it to you once we're
Okay.
done. But
Please do.
yes, I actually have a red lip from them too that I did a long
Oh,
time
you
ago. But
do. Okay. You might get a little business out of me, okay? Because I love a nude lip and a red lip. I'm easy to please.
you're working the red lip today, though.
Honey, when this is over, it's coming off.
I know that's right.
I ain't got nowhere to go. This is coming off.
You are cracking me up. I know that's right. But you look good. You look beautiful.
Thank you, friend. But we do have to talk about the food, okay, in our community.
Yes,
So
yes.
what were your thoughts on food?
Just like I was saying earlier, food connects us. As Black people, we love to have get-togethers. Even if it's not at a get-together, you go to the gas station in the morning, you grab a snack. You go to school, you and your friends want to go grab something to eat. I mean, food is just something that connects us, just like music. But the fried chicken, the McDonald's, the wrap snacks, the hot Cheetos, pizza, the Domino's, Wingstop. I mean, it's just so endless.
Convenience is killing us.
Convenience. Oh my gosh, this one is popping up in my head right now. An ingredient that is so popular in ultra processed foods, and it's not even just in food. I picked up deodorant the other day and I saw this and I couldn't believe it. Maltodextrin. Maltodextrin is, yes, you can pick up pretty much any ultra processed food. It could be a piece of candy, it could be cereal, something in the frozen section. It's everywhere. Maltodextrin is one of the most addictive chemicals in food that we're giving children. Adults are eating it. This is why we can't put it down. And to me, it's honestly not even funny because, I mean, I'm on Instagram a lot. I put out the information that I do on Instagram. So people make it seem like it's funny that this food is so addictive, like the Popeyes chicken sandwiches. It's not funny to me because when something is triggering these chemicals in your brain to where you can't put it down or you just gotta have it, there's something wrong there. And we're feeding this to our children. There's something wrong there with me. And the difference between that and something like whole organic foods that you get from the farmer's market, leafy greens, fruits and veggies, your herbs, those things don't trigger those signals in your brain. Once you eat something healthy for dinner, lunch, breakfast, whatnot, you feel satiated. You feel good. You don't feel like, oh my gosh, I got to have another sweet potato. I'm craving a sweet potato. I mean, it's normal to say, yeah, sweet potato could be good right now, or a peach, but it's just not that like a drug addict, and that's what it's doing to our community. And I'm saying Black people specifically because one of our suburbs out here is a West Bloomfield or a Novi, predominantly white, wealthy. West Bloomfield, actually, they do not allow fast food chains in their city. So that actually, I didn't know that until recently, but they do not allow fast food chains in their city. They only allow original mom and pop restaurants. And of course, your Whole Food stores, Kroger's and things like that. But that just goes to show the difference between a community that is wealthy and knows these things, that has access to this information for generations. The difference between something like that in West Bloomfield and Detroit is astronomical because, to be quite honest with you, right now, I stay up on the city news as well. Our city is more focused on getting people to move here. The gentrification type of thing is going on here. So our city infrastructure, we are not thinking about healthy food for kids. That's just not what they're thinking about. But other cities, they have the time to think about stuff like that because their foundation is already set. So that just caught me by surprise. I said, wow, I wonder, it's probably the same in Atlanta. It's probably the same down there in Jacksonville. It's probably the same over in Houston where Black people live. And unfortunately, a lot of us are not our focus is not on health. A lot of times our focus is on materialistic things such as moving to a suburb or having the latest fashion trend on, having the latest car. We're not thinking about our health. So while you're sitting in your Bentley or your Ferrari, you're eating a Popeye's chicken sandwich.
Popeyes.
Like, is that not crazy?
Driving to the hood getting Popeyes.
Exactly. So,
and then there are these other cities not wanting it in their city at all.
Right. And all that leads to is our children, they're sitting in these schools, and for breakfast they're served sweet stuff like cereal, Pop-Tarts. I mean, that's what the government that we're trusting in, and I say we lightly as a community, but we're trusting them to give our children healthy options, not even realizing that they're the reason why our children have ADHD, or they can't sit still and they can't retain things in class. You know, it's just jumping right over all of our heads. We're not thinking like, hey, maybe it could be the food that we're feeding them. And one last topic that I will cover with the food is the price aspect. Cheap, easy to access. I mean, a lot of Black people in Detroit are not wealthy, and other predominantly Black communities. So what are you going to do? You're going to buy the cheapest food that you believe are going to get your kids full. You can get it for however much you can afford it. I mean, I hear it all the time. Like, why would I pay for organic, or why would I get this or that when I could get that for cheaper and now have more? So a lot of times we're just thinking about quantity over quality, and not really the value of what we're getting. And that's another aspect that I believe is missing in our decision making. You know, how is this going to affect me in the long run instead of just, you know, right now financially? But that's not to say not to budget, but I believe there's a way around everything.
Right. So one thing that I wanted to mention that you stated about they can't put it down in this one like little chemical or whatever. I always say, if you can't stop eating it, you're addicted to it.
Yes.
And I also say there's no way you could be addicted to an apple.
Or, exactly.
I've never heard anybody say, "Oh, I can't stop eating. I can't stop eating it." It doesn't have that effect on you. So that tells you the difference, right? If you can't stop eating something, you're addicted to it.
Exactly.
There's no way to put it. That's like a drug. You can't stop eating it. And
the thing is, yeah, we don't, just like with the stress, we don't even know that we're addicted most of the time. We think that this is normal. We think that we're supposed to, right. Like, oh, making the joke like, oh, this is why we're big backs. Okay, if you think that's funny, go ahead and laugh. But
like, you really think that's funny to be that way? And you know, I hate to even talk about that, but it's just like, look at what your children are looking at you. Your children are obese. Do you know what could happen to your children? Getting diabetes, dying early, and you're buying the food?
Yep.
Like, it's not funny to me.
That's exactly what I'm saying. Seeing stuff like that is not funny, because it's not laughable to me when a kid is not able to run and they're out of breath, or they're huffing and puffing going up and down the stairs. That's not funny to me. And then not even just that, but I mean, realistically, they're probably socially ostracized because they can't even walk up and down the stairs without huffing and puffing. So it's just like other people are seeing this, and then teachers might see it, other parents, and they're just like, are they feeding them the proper things? Like, is that a healthy household? But a lot of times this stuff is so normalized that some people just turn an eye to it. Like, okay, obese child, that's normal. That is not normal. That's not okay. That's not their choice. They're not choosing to be that way. Their parents are responsible for that.
You're 100% responsible. I did a video talking about it. If your children are obese and you buy the food, you're the problem.
Exactly.
You buy
100%.
And the reason why you won't stop buying it is because you're eating it too.
Right. And it's apparently not hurting your pockets, because a lot of time that's another worry is like, oh, Doritos only $1, they're on sale. Right. Oh, nacho cheese dip. Right. Oh, Popeyes having a sale. Okay.
Right. I just think there needs to be intention. There needs to be education. And a lot of us are just ignorant to it, you know, like, and then they want to go to the holistic route when their doctors is just like, well, there's nothing else we can do.
Right. Yeah.
We got all of this to clean up. You know what I mean? Like, it's the food.
Yes, it is. It is. But, you know, we just got to continue to have that patience and grace, because sometimes they just don't know. And that's okay. But that's why we are here. because we're going to be that buffer. And if they want to, if they are willing to, then we can lead them down that path.
Let's go. Hop
Right,
on.
we got
Hop on the train. Okay.
I know that's right.
I absolutely love that. And then, so our final topic, and I know I love talking about this. I know you love it too. We're going to talk a little bit about the lymphatic system. Okay, friend. So share a little bit about your understanding of the lymphatic system. It's my favorite system in the whole world.
Me too. And I'm so glad that we're able to bond off of that. Oh
I love it.
Look, the lymph system, to me, it is the immune system. To me, it is the immune system. Your lymph system, a lot, and see, this is something that I would really love for kids to understand, because nobody tells kids or even a high schooler what your lymph system is. I mean, I don't ever remember in my 10th grade honors biology class what the lymph system is. I know what X chromosomes are, stuff like that. But we're not taught how easy it is to take care of our bodies until it's too late. So something like the lymph system, that is one of the most intricate systems that keeps our health together. It's pretty easy to take care of if you start taking care of it at a time where your body isn't being attacked. So the lymph system, so you have lymph nodes, you have lymphocytes, you have lymph itself. The lymph system literally takes the toxins out of your body and it drains it out with the lymph. People talk about white blood cells all the time. Those are quite literally lymphocytes. Lymphocytes are created in the lymph nodes, and the lymph system is actually just like how your nerves are. They're all over your body. You have nodes, but the lymph travels down to another node. So basically, say a virus enters into your body, your white blood cells fight it, but it has to go somewhere. It can't just, go anywhere. But your lymph takes all of that and it exits through your body. You can exit it through your digestive system. But basically, taking care of your lymph system is so simple, because you can massage your lymph nodes. You don't even need to buy a gua sha or a gasha. I'm not sure. I've heard so many different enunciations. I'm just going to say gasha. But you can literally use your knuckles. You can use this part of your thumb on your face. You can rub right here. I know you've got some lymph, and your sinuses are right here too. But you can rub that around your face, and then on your neck too. You can massage softly. They're all over your body. I mean, even right here. Your armpits are a big lymph node site. Armpits around your heart, down by your groin, on your abdominal muscles, behind your knee, on your feet, and your ankles. I mean, it's literally everywhere. Some things that really do attack your lymph system, though, we're going to go back to the underarm. Deodorant, aluminum. It's literally clogging. Clogging your, exactly. So things like that, they hurt your lymph system, because just like you were saying earlier, just having those four nodes out of hundreds on your body, just having those 4 taken out really affect the drainage pathway.
Whole left side.
Exactly. And we get on medications that could be obstructing your lymph system. People end up with lymphedema. Their body cannot, lymphedema, your immune system is basically shutting down at that point. So we really want to prevent people from even getting that way. Exercise is a big way. Yes. Exercise, sweating, getting that heart rate up, moving around, shaking around. That is a great way to quite literally exercise your lymph system. You're getting the lymph fluid moving. It's not stagnant, because when it's stagnant, toxins are just sitting there, or you're not even able to get rid of them. So, I mean, oh my gosh, we could talk about that all day.
Because it's like the lymphatic system, it's your cleanup system before it deposits it back into your blood. So it's like, if it's not functioning properly, the toxins are just running rampant in your body. And you're sick all of the time. You have excess, and it can affect your heart and your breathing. It can affect so many different parts of the body. When after I was diagnosed with cancer, I came across, that's how I found a love for Dr. Robert Morris. He's the naturopath, and he talks about the lymphatic system all the time, honey. I know my boyfriend. You talk about the lymphatic system. Like my lymphatic system clogged. It had to be. I have cancer. And so and this is where my obsession really came. So after my diagnosis of cancer, and I had all the surgeries or whatever, 40-day fruit fast. Okay, listening to Dr. Robert Morris. Okay, and he was always talking about making sure that your kidneys are functioning properly as well, because you know your kidneys are your filtration system, right? It filters the blood and it gets your waste and stuff out. So I was working on my kidneys, and it was at a point I was like, I want to see something. I want something to happen. I want to see it, right? So I took it to another level. I started doing intermittent fasting. I implemented a lemon juice protocol. I also implemented dry fasting, right? So, it was about a week, and then my kidneys and my back, you know, it started hurting. I was like, oh my God, what's happening? And, you know, I could just kind of like feel myself was just like, drink more water, drink more water. So I was just like, during the time where I was eating, I was like, let me just get this water in. And the next day, friends, and also at this time, I was checking my urine, right? I wanted to make sure I was filtering because I was not. And if you see little sediment fall down to the bottom, your kidneys are filtering. So I went to the restroom, I checked my first thing in the morning, and no lie, I mean, this is kind of nasty or whatever, but there was like 2 ounces of just white, thick white.
Really?
Didn't see through it. It was like, I was like, I'm dying. What is happening?
No.
So dramatic. I was like, what is this? Oh my God. I'm about to die. Like, but then, you know, something clicked. It was like, hey, it's coming out of you. Like, that's
exactly
somewhere stuck in my body somewhere. And it kind of scared me, right? So I looked at it, I kind of swirled it around in my little urine mason jar, and I just dumped it. And I just wish I would have taken a picture of it, you know, because
just to like keep that for yourself. Like, this is like, what I was able to detox.
This came out of me.
Right.
Girl, I was so shocked. But when I saw that, I was like, there's power in fruits, there's power in cleansing. There's like, your body will do it itself if you give it what it needs to do it. And I'll also say, after that happened, I started sweating. I would never sweat. Like, it could be 100 degrees out here in Florida, I wouldn't sweat, not once. Child, I sweat crazy now. I'm happy though. Like, every time I sweat, I'm like, yes. Every time I sweat, I'm like, yes. Toxins are out. So that's like, it's rewarding for me now to see sweat, because I know what that means. And, you know, if y'all don't see sweat happening, honey, you have a problem. Okay. It's not a flex.
Exactly.
And you mentioned deodorant for your underarms. Do you know they're making a deodorant for your behind? People put deodorant.
I've seen that.
Like, you're gonna put this stuff
just clogging it up everywhere.
Your vaginal areas. Like,
oh my
I would not do that. I would not do that. You know, like, do not put deodorant in your hind parts.
And oh my goodness.
And, like, we can go on and on about it.
I know. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, they put it in their hind parts. The lady went viral on TikTok. I was just like, and you know, everybody started. I'm like, are y'all crazy? Do you know
you're supposed to sweat?
There's aluminum in that
for your feet. Your feet.
Like, listen, no, I don't want that stuff. I don't want it. And they put it in their hind.
I do not want that.
You gonna get cancer in your behind. Now what? You gotta get your behind cut off. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's not funny, but it's not funny. But you never know. Like, it could be a new thing. They're putting deodorant on their hind parts in their vaginal area to prevent sweating. And it's like, come on, guys.
You're supposed to sweat there. It happens for a reason.
You know, if you don't like the smell, then
maybe
there's something you can do to prevent the smell. Like, maybe eat some greens.
Exactly.
Put that vodka, that Delion on ice or whatever, you know. Put that down.
Exactly.
Greens, maybe.
You know, right. Just a suggestion. That's, you know, like,
it won't hurt.
Just a suggestion. Right.
But hey, that is what it is, honey.
Yes, that actually just really quickly reminds me of, with the deodorant, I'll look in comments of non-toxic deodorant, no aluminum or anything like that. And then people in the comments will say, oh, I tried this and I didn't like the way I smelled afterwards. So I just had to go back to using aluminum. And I was just like, but you didn't even give it time. You don't realize that that's your body detoxing what it couldn't detox when you were using the aluminum antiperspirant. And people make jokes about people who use natural deodorant and say they need some aluminum or something like that. Quite personally, I have never smelled using a non-toxic deodorant. And it goes in part with my diet and what I do every day. So I'm not just throwing it onto a foundation that's like eating hot Cheetos every day. honey buns every day, refined sugars, refined carbs.
Right.
So I actually smell much better using, a non-toxic deodorant. So maybe those people that, smell a little funky, they might be in that detox period, or their diet is not working properly, or their lymph system cannot be working properly. They could have some other, disease that they might be dealing with. But, people make jokes and things like that. And I honestly find it quite childish that you would just put something off like that because it didn't work for you. But you don't really know if it didn't work because you didn't try it for the amount of time that it would take for changes to come into effect.
And that goes with like the diet and stuff too. It's just like when you say change your diet, and you're looking for the effects, right? You want whatever it is that you're changing your diet for, you want to see it working, and you don't change it long enough. And it's like this isn't medicine. This isn't like the medicine that you're prescribed by your doctor where you're going to see it immediately. It takes time, and you got to be patient. And a lot of people just can't do that, and it just sucks. It's not funny. Like, it's not funny,
right?
Since I've been using magnesium, nothing. My boyfriend is in awe. Like, it's his favorite products. Like, he will tell.
I need to snag some from your store actually, because I looked in my store and I didn't really like the option. So I'm definitely gonna head on over to the Essence of Earth store and grab some.
I love it, honey. I don't know exactly what's happening. I mean, I don't know how I can figure it out, but like no smell. Like, go to the gym and everything. And my boyfriend, he can't believe, he was like, I don't like to smell, it's like it needs to work type of thing. He's like, I need it to work. Exactly. And he tried it. He was like, I can't believe this. I can't believe it. I've gone a week without. And I'm like, and you're getting magnesium. Like, you can't beat that.
You get to sleep better at night.
Right. I absolutely love magnesium for that. It's the best sleep. So
I have to grab some. I love that.
You should definitely try it. Now, I do want you to talk about your business a little bit. So tell us about that and how you serve people with that.
Of course. So actually, let me give you guys a little background about this. But August of 2022, it wasn't Renewed Living Solutions. I wasn't even actually offering the services that I'm offering now. But this whole thing started with me making non-toxic candles with just soy wax and beeswax, and also copper wire jewelry. I'm sorry, I was gonna say clothing. I don't know why that came into my head. But
I'm sorry. I actually bracelet. Do you still sell them?
I don't still sell them. I could definitely make something for you though, because you're so amazing. I could definitely make something for you.
I'll pay you whatever.
I would love to. I can show you the cuffs that I actually made. I mean, I'm not opposed to. That's just not. I don't have the time to make the jewelry anymore because the pieces were so intricate. It take hours and hours, and that just wasn't really where my passion was. So the healing properties. Don't be sorry. I love the dialogue. I love talking to you. But I started with the candles in the copper wire jewelry because I'm just a lover of the arts with the jewelry. I've always been doing things with my hands, and also the non-toxic candles because I love to burn candles. And then I said, I want to offer people, yes, we love a flame and a lovely scent. So I did eucalyptus and lavender candles with either a soy or a beeswax wax instead of something carcinogenic like paraffin wax, because I knew what those volatile organic compounds did to people's lungs. So I said, let me offer this to the community, and let me also offer the copper wire jewelry to the community, because copper wire, and I'm not just going to say wire, but copper, the element, the metal, it is such a healing metal. It has so many healing properties. I'm talking like getting your blood flow stimulated. It's a natural EMF. It protects you from EMF radiation, helps you sleep better. Yes.
I need to know that.
Yes. Even things like drinking from a copper water bottle, having copper water system, copper pipes. Copper, it naturally ionizes your water. It naturally filters your water. So you're drinking water that's electrically charged just from having it come in contact with the copper. It's antimicrobial, it is antibacterial, antiviral, antifungal, all of this naturally. So I just fell in love with that. So I started making copper jewelry. That was for maybe about a year. And then 2023 came around. I really started studying a lot more about holistic health. And I felt like I had more to offer than just the jewelry. Oh, I'm sorry, I skipped something. In between that, I also started selling organic personal care. So deodorant, soap, incense, toothpaste, just to start with the basics because I wanted to offer non-toxic options to everyone. So I did that for a little bit. So skip, I started doing more studying. And I said, I feel like I have more to offer than just, jewelry and retail non-toxic products. I love talking to people. I love communicating with others. I love when people ask me questions about holistic living. So I started planning a consulting business for holistic health. So for that year, it was kind of hard having to work a 9 to 5 and get that together. I mean, you can only imagine like how many nights I was just like studying and coming up with my business plan and website, whatever. But fast forward to this summer of 2024, I took about a month off from Instagram because I would post consistently on Instagram, and that also takes a lot of work too. Like when you have a 9 to 5, you want to record reels. Yeah, you want to record and you want to come up with these carousels. And I don't like to just throw stuff out there. I methodically come up with information. I don't just throw stuff on there. I like it to be presented a certain way. So it just took a lot of time. So I took a hiatus from Instagram for about a month or so. And I came back in July and I said, in August, or actually September 15th, we will be launching Renew Living Solutions. So Renew Living Solutions philosophy is functional, foundational aspects of life. So I want to get people to get to the foundation, get to the basics. We need to get into that nitty gritty of what is causing you to have the habits that you do. Why are you doing this? We want to change your daily habits because I don't know if you're familiar with the book Atomic Habits, but basically it's a really good read. Okay. It's a really good read. I read this a few years ago though, but your habits, your daily habits are what make you. And we always tend to skip over the smaller things in search of something bigger, but really you need to start with what you're doing in those small moments every day. So, excuse me, that's the philosophy of my business, and treating people with kindness, with respect, grace, and empathy, because people need that when they come to you in these situations where they're like, hey, I literally don't know what I'm doing. I need help. I'm just grateful that they were able to even see the fact that they needed help. So I'm just going to treat you with grace, respect, and be understanding. But into the services that I actually offer, I call it an audit. So an audit is where I either come into your home physically or virtually, just like now, like we're on Zoom, and we take a look at your pantry, we take a look at your personal care items, whatever you want me to see that you use. We take a look into your closet, same thing, your workwear, what have you, your active wear. We also take a look at your furniture and things like that, because a lot of people don't know that PFAs, petroleum products, they're in our clothing, they are in our rugs, our carpet, they're in our furniture that we lay on all day, they're in our mattresses. So I audit that and I tell you, hey, you should change this. This is toxic. I'll tell you exactly why. And then I will recommend you something that could be budget friendly if you need that, or, whatever it is that you're in the means to buy. So that's the audit portion. And then you also get the consultation portion where I work with you for either a 3 or a 6 month period, and we will dissect your habits. You get to talk to me. We have 1-hour sessions twice a month where you talk to me and we see where you're at mentally, what you feel like you need help with, what your goals are, what you feel like you accomplished. I've also made glossaries. So basically the glossaries, you can take them with you to the grocery store, or you can even call me and ask. But like, say you're at the grocery store and you don't know what this ingredient is, you can look at the glossary, or you can call me and then we'll go into depth about it. Wow. But that's just what I offer. That's just like the broad scope of what I have to offer. I also have it to where if you have just simple questions that you'd like to ask me, you can email me them. We don't have to, go through the whole audit process. You can just ask me simple questions. But those are the services that I offer. And I just started in September. So
that is amazing. Wow.
Thank you.
I'm proud of you.
Thank you so much.
I can tell that you put a lot of time and work into it. And I know how that feels. You just want to do something that's going to help somebody else. And, you're staying up late and,
yes.
that's especially like the glossary and doing the audits in their home. Like that's huge, because that's where it really starts. And I actually just recently learned about, the petroleum and toxins and stuff that could be in our clothes. And I thought that was just absolutely crazy. You know?
Yes,
But
it
that's
is.
the world. That's the world today.
Right.
But to have a business and offer that, it's just incredible. Good
Thank you
job.
so much.
So,
Thank you.
what is your website and how can they find you?
My website is renewlivingsolutions.com. You guys can find me on Instagram. I'm also on LinkedIn. I just created a LinkedIn page. I'm not sure what I'll use that for, but I am on Instagram. I have 2 pages. I have Renew Living Solutions, and I also have my page where I show you guys a little bit more lifestyle. You know, I show a lot of things on my story, what I'm doing day to day. I have a lot of reels where I'm being interactive. That username is holistically_Amber. But yes, and you guys can send me an email, check everything out. I would love that. But yeah, I'm not on TikTok or anything like that.
Okay.
TikTok, I don't know. I feel like
It's another beast.
I know. I was just like, I'm not ready for that yet.
Although I do think that you would do well.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you.
I do, but it is another.
My brother told me that. I was like,
I think
maybe I'll try it later. He was like, all
you
you have to do is just post the same stuff. And I was like, yeah.
Yeah, and it's your personality more than anything. I think you'll do well.
Thank you. Thank you. I might just.
Yeah, do it. I think you're going to do well. I feel it like right here.
You do? Okay, well, maybe I should take that as a sign that I should.
Yeah, you should. You're going to do well on it. I can promise you that. But yeah, it's been amazing. What a great conversation.
Yes.
And we went way over, but the conversation.
I was just about to say you predicted like 30 to an hour, but we did it today.
I'm sitting here looking at the time, and I'm like, "There's no way I'm stopping. I can't stop." Like
exactly, it was getting too good.
It was too good to interrupt it. So I'm so happy that I did this. I'm so happy I started this because you're incredible and you're just as knowledgeable. You know, to be as young as you are, and I hate having to say that, but a lot of people aren't there yet. You know, people typically wait for, you know, the diagnosis to happen before they make a change in their life. And
right.
Start out so early and to be able to help, you know, your generation there, you know, to be that. It's just like, kudos to you. Gold star for Amber.
Thank you so much. Well, honestly, all I can say is thank you to God. I'm just so blessed and so thankful just to be here. And I'm also thankful that we were able to connect, that we found each other, because this is such an amazing, you know, sisterhood. I'm so grateful that you started this podcast series and that you even thought that I was a great enough guest to bring on. I am so thankful for that, for us to have this dialogue. It's so necessary and it was so amazing. But not only that, it was refreshing for me to be able to talk to a colleague like this, because I don't know if anyone takes this by surprise or not, but I am not surrounded by a lot of people that do this. So every day I kind of feel like I am alone. I mean, not alone, because I do have God and I do have my family. But as far as taking this path in my career and what I'm passionate about, I don't have too many colleagues that I've met yet. But it's just really refreshing to speak with you today. And I am so grateful for you to have me. Thank you, Nikita.
You're very welcome. And we're going to have to do it again and go into like depth on some of those topics, Lenny, because we kind of, I love it. So